Right, hi, welcome back to another video. I was looking through all of my videos, well, mainly the ones that I had posted in 2017 in my channel, not so long ago, and I realised, for one, I hadn't done nowhere near as many videos this year as I have in previous years, and, that kind of made me think, that it's a shame that I haven't. I love sort of seeing the progress I've made and like reading back at old comments on old videos and stuff like that and seeing like the progress and also looking at myself in the past. So the fact that I haven't done that many this year when so much has happened and occurred is kind of like, I'm a bit annoyed at myself there for not doing as many, so that's a bit crappy. But another thing that I really did notice is towards the start of my channel, I did make videos pretty much solely on my sexuality, because that is the reason that I started really making videos on this channel, because I really wanted to reach out to people like myself, other asexuals, and try and find people like me, and that's exactly what I did. And in the first few months I made friends through YouTube, friends across the world, who we would Skype each other, we would have calls together. I even had viewers that we formed a friendship, and those viewers actually became one and formed their own asexual channel, just through getting together and forming like this sort of community within my channel. And they created their own channel, which is still something I'm very kind of proud of, that I managed to be the catalyst within this process, really, that process. But I noticed in 2017 I haven't really done a video or like many videos at all solely on asexuality, and I know that's the reason that probably at least half of my viewers are subscribed to my channel, because that's just there's a lot of viewers that message me all the time and say I'm glad that you make these videos, it makes me feel less alone, and suddenly I have someone that I can relate to and someone who is like me, and that's amazing. So the fact that I haven't spoken about it in like a video on its own for a while is a bit worrying, and sort of I want to make one, which is what this video basically is now. Obviously, I do bring it up in some videos and say, like make maybe like a brief snippet of how asexuality affects my everyday life and how it is affecting me at this precise minute. But I haven't made like videos solely on it, and this is what I wanted to do now, which is why the title of this video is something like being asexual in 2017, or how it affects me, or something like that. But basically, when I started out my channel, I really thought that, as time progressed, that asexuality would become more accepted and more well known, and obviously like awareness would spread, and it's just more recognized, really. I think that's occurred to an extent. Obviously it's it's going to be a slow process, and that's inevitable. It's the same with everything. It's just not going to happen quickly. But I think it's happened since then for sure. The amount of people that now know about it, and the amount of people that I get on a weekly basis that now message me and say, whoa, just found your channel, just found out what asexuality is. It's crazy. And you've got the media and social media to thank for that, and I certainly have that, because without the media and without the internet and stuff like that, I would have never had a definition for what I am. And I wouldn't have known, because it was never taught in schools. It's not something that's easily accessible. You just can't really, not enough people know about it. So I had to do my own individual research to find out what it was. So without the internet, I wouldn't have a definition, and I'll just continue feeling quite subordinated and alone. So that's great, and the fact that obviously media is expanding all the time, it helps. And also the fact that at the end of last year and the end of 2016, like a big YouTuber, obviously, Ricky Dillon, like came out, like he didn't say he was asexual, but he said like if he was to define himself, then asexuality would be the term that he would most likely go to. And even him just saying that term like sparks, like people would type it in like, oh, what the hell is asexuality, if they've never heard it before. If people will look up to him, people will like his videos, would want to search that up and find out what it is. Because of that video, I had people coming over to my videos, because obviously when you search asexuality, I come up, maybe not on the first page or something, but I come up somewhere. And people will comment saying, oh, I came from Ricky's video, really cool idea, really cool that you make videos like this. I feel like I am myself. And obviously I acquired like 10 to 20% of my subscribers from him making that video. Like my growth just went it just zoomed up, literally just from that video. Like, I acquired like 300 subscribers just from that video, like just over the space of a week, which is crazy. And obviously just it's never happened since, and it would never happened like that before. So it was mad. So just imagine if someone like huge, like a big celebrity, like for example like Ed Sheeran, just suddenly came out as asexual. You know, people would be typing it in, people would be finding these videos, people would now know what it is, and suddenly people who did feel alone, that had never known about asexuality, would have a definition for what they are, and they will find the community like this, basically. And there are so many people that still don't know and still probably do feel alone, which sucks. You know, it's because there isn't enough awareness, but it's so true. I did my whole dissertation on minority sexualities in schools and in education in general, and you know, it was shocking how all minority sexualities, not just asexuality, but are just so... There just isn't enough information within schools. You just aren't taught it. We're especially the one where I can only really speak about the UK schools. Really, I can't really speak across cultures because I don't know the facts, so I can't really generalize. But within the UK anyway, it has got better, so I can't really criticize it and say, oh, it's not good enough, because it does keep getting better. So that is a huge plus. But there's still things that just aren't spoken about, and I mean, there aren't even... Like, if you type in asexuality and like look at like studies and things like that regarding asexuality and asexuals, it's just, you won't find like anything. It's still just unrecognizable by a lot of things, and it's the same for other sexualities as well that are just super minority sexualities. And it's something that, you know, it's if you feel, it makes it feel like, you know, you're just invisible and just don't exist. Because obviously the schools like teach facts and teach, this is what you need to know for this exams, this is what you need to know. 2 + 2 is 4, make sure you write that in your exams. You're going to grow old, you're going to grow up, and you're going to want children, you're going to go through puberty, you're going to be attracted to the opposite sex. You get taught that in science. Science is something that you're taught to be, you know, facts. You know, you learn that science is factual, you know. When you mix this and this, you know, it creates this. It does. It's a fact. So if you're taught that in biology, if you're taught that, you're gonna freaking, your hormones are gonna act like this, and you're gonna be attracted to the opposite sex, you're gonna go through puberty, etc., you're obviously gonna assume it as fact. And when you've got an authority figure like a teacher in your classroom telling you all that, you're gonna go, yeah, that's right. So if you're different from that, or if you're gay, if you're a minority sexuality, you're gonna think, fuck, I'm wrong. Yeah, I don't belong to this at all. Am I wrong? Have I failed school, you know, just by being a sexuality? Of course it's going to do that. And of course it's going to make people who are heterosexual think that's the right way to be. Hang on, they're not like this. Those people that are asexual, they're wrong or something. You know, it does suck. And obviously that's to an extreme, and I can't generalize that to everyone. Of course everyone's not going to listen to that and think, yeah, that means heterosexuality is wrong. That means heterosexuality is right. You're all wrong. Of course it's not going to make everyone think that. But obviously it can have an influence. It inevitably does, especially when you're younger and this is taught to younger kids. I mean, sex education for me started in primary school in like year 5 when I was, like 8 years old. So of course when you're younger and you're shown freaking videos like that, you're going to believe it. You're going to, you know no different, basically. So that's my opinion anyway. And that's what I learned for my dissertation. And you know, my dissertation supervisor loved the idea because, you know, it's something you don't even think about unless you're really a minority sexuality, because the majority of the world is obviously heterosexual. A majority of the world, they don't really consider, you know, obviously it is tailored for them. The curriculum in terms of sexuality education is tailored towards heterosexuals, so you don't really question it if it is tailored for you. You know, if your laptop's running absolutely fine, then you're not gonna like look at problems of it because it's fine. Like, that's probably a really bad analogy, but basically, like, it's all tailored for them, and it doesn't, you know, because that's all they've got, and because they are heterosexual and, you know, don't have any minority sexuality traits, they don't even need to worry about it, is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, that's that. Right, in 2017, I've said how it's changed, the media's expanded, etc., etc. I want to say how now, I want to move on to, I know this is going to be a very long video, subjectively and my life personally, because obviously a lot has happened in this year. I've had my first relationship, I've moved into a house with new people, I started my first full-time job, which is crazy, so obviously met new people through that. And, you know, I've come out to one of them, I think. Yeah, one of them, and that's it. That is literally it. And it's still something that, you know, plays on my mind because it's talked a lot. And obviously going into this job and going into this, it feels like a final stage thing. And that sounds really weird to say, seeing I'm 21. But suddenly, you know, obviously during education, I was with people my own age. And as I went through education, you sort of go in stages. You go from, you know, primary school, secondary school, you know, university. And you're with like people the same age pretty much. But then when I've gone into this job, I'm suddenly with everyone. I'm with people my own age, but I'm also with people that are 40 plus, 50 plus, 60 plus, blah, blah, blah. And it's just all middle-aged people as well, and, you know, who have families and who have this. And, you know, something I've really noticed is, you know, the acceptance of people my own age tends to be a lot, you know, there tends to be a lot more acceptance of people my own age in comparison to people who are older. It's in my generation thing. It might be, you know, because obviously they don't see as much of the YouTube community or hear as much of these minority sexualities. I don't know. So it is just, it's inevitable. It's why parents, you know, sometimes find it hard. And, you know, obviously we're all created through, you know, we've all been created through sexual intercourse. And I mean, like, we're all on this planet because of sex, really. So, you know, it's likely that our parents were heterosexual, or our biological ones anyway. So, you know, they don't seem to, you know, they don't know anything about, like, minority sexualities, really. You know, they don't know what it's like to belong to one, because that, and obviously we're all a product of that. We're all products of, like, heterosexual people, pretty much. Obviously, you know, not all of us were brought up like that. Perhaps, you know, you're adopted by a gay couple or something like that, and that's awesome, you know, but you know, we are all a product of that. So a lot of our parents are just heterosexuals, and just, you know, we will have to come out to them at one stage, and that's always tricky. That is always tricky when they're like that. And obviously, you know, some are more understanding than others, and obviously you just want them to be as understanding as they can be. But I feel it's the same in just general terms of, you know, my ex's parents just didn't, obviously I've mentioned in other videos, they just didn't understand it at all, and they just didn't, like, they thought that, like, I didn't love Gemma simply because, you know, I didn't really want to have sex with her, or I didn't have sexual feelings towards her, and they just didn't really, you know, as I said in my last video, one of my last videos, her mum still thought I was too young to define as asexual, and thought that because of mental health issues in the past that was preventing me from having a sex drive or whatnot. But they didn't correlate at all, because I was asexual before any mental health issues, so it literally made no sense. But it was just refusing to believe I was that. But yet, you know, if I was heterosexual, she wouldn't be saying the same thing. She wouldn't be saying, oh, you're too young to define as heterosexual. You know, you could be gay, you're just too young. Nobody says that, you know. It's only if you're part of a minority sexuality that people start to question it. And that kind of sucks, because it's the same as, like, you don't go up to someone who's, you know, of a different ethnic origin and say, you know, you're too young to be from India. You might grow up and be from Australia. How ridiculous does that sound? Like, how ridiculous. They had no choice that they were born in India. Or, you know, you don't have any choice if you're born in Australia. I didn't have any choice that I was born in England. We don't get to choose where we're born. I didn't get to choose my sexuality. So why do people think that, you know, so, oh, you're too young to define as asexual? You know, well, it's wrong, you know, like, I'm wrong. Like, oh, yes, oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I am too young. Yeah, I must wait and see if I'm actually Australian. Maybe I was actually born on the moon, you know. It's ridiculous. It's just a ridiculous theory. And again, you know, it probably sounded like a ridiculous analogy. And that is how ridiculous it sounds to me when people say, you're too young to say that, or you're too young to define as that, or that I'm wrong, or that thing. It's a bit like, you would probably, for any heterosexuals that are watching, if someone came up to you and said, how do you know you're heterosexual? Aren't you a bit too young? You're going to go, no, just piss off. Like, it's exactly the same. It's my sexuality. It's who I am. Why don't you fucking accept that, yeah? But, you know, it hurts even more because obviously I wish they were right. I wish I was too young. I wish, you know, I did have this. I wish I could change. You know, I wish I could change the heterosexuality to be heterosexual. You know, I wish I did like sex. Life would be a hell of a lot easier. It just would. You know, my relationship probably would have worked out suddenly. You know, things in the past would have worked out. You know, relationships with everyone would have worked out. You know, her parents probably would have liked me and stuff like that. You know, it's just so much prejudice comes from being like this, and it does suck and it does get to you because coming out, coming out isn't just this one thing, and it's not just this thing that you do once. Like when I made my video and I came out as asexual, or I came out to my family as asexual, it's not something you have to do once. But like when I move to a workplace, or when I move to university, or when I move anywhere in the world, or meet new people, make new friends, I will have to get back in the closet for a sec before I come out again, because you know, they don't know you. They don't, and people presume that you're heterosexual until they know otherwise, you know. It's just this presumptuous thing that you just assume. And unless you come out to them and say, I'm like this, you know, it's this presumption that everyone makes, unless people assume that someone's gay because of like how perhaps they dress or something like that. And, you know, some people make assumptions like that and just, oh, he's clearly gay because look at him or something. People make assumptions like that are, you know, sometimes wrong as well. But, you know, people don't know true or any objective truth unless you actually come out to them. So it is an ongoing process, and it's just something that's quite hard because it does cause this prejudice, and it's all negative stigma, as if you can get positive stigma. No, there's so much stigma attached to minority sexuality, especially like asexuality and stuff, just from personal experience. You know, I'm sure there is for other sexualities as well, but you know, it's influenced my life so much in the sense that, like, as I say, like some people don't even believe that it's still real and that I'm too young, and it just is, you know, it makes it seem like it's wrong, you know, and it's not real, and it just seems like that shouldn't be the case, and there is so much prejudice, and obviously, you know, like my ex's parents, you know, didn't sort of connect with me because of that, and they sort of, like, when I first got together with her, they weren't very, you know, they were reluctant to, before meeting me, they were reluctant to like trust me and stuff like that, because obviously they didn't, and then until they met me, they realised, oh, he's a normal guy, he's really nice and stuff like that. But it's been the same. It's the same with everyone, and it's just, you know, it's tricky. It will be tricky coming out to like work colleagues and stuff when I eventually do. If I do, I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. But you know, I know it's going to be something that is going to be picked up on, and something that a lot of them won't understand. You know, a lot of them are a lot older, and a lot of them are part of a different generation. You know, with families, with kids, and you know, I have a couple of gay colleagues, and they're very well, you know, they are, that everyone on the team is so accepting, you know, and just, you know, it's just not, you don't even question it like anymore. It's just like, yeah, they're gay, that's fine, and that's fantastic that we've gone from stigmatizing like homosexuality to just normal, and I just hope that that's going to be the case, and hopefully the near future, but if not, just the future in general for all sexualities, because we have come a long way from, I mean, the 20th century, where obviously gays were just subordinated completely, to now, you know, just no one, you know, you're gay, okay, that's fine, and it just seems like so many more people are just more accepting. So hopefully, you know, as generations pass and stuff like that, and obviously our generation gets older, that will be the case for subordinate. Anyway, I'm rambling, but yeah, that's 2017 in a nutshell. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's freaking long. It's 20 minutes long. Hopefully you related to it. Let me know what your favourite part was, or if there was like a statement you really liked, because I know I included some of the stuff that I used for my dissertation and stuff like that. So, you know, if there was a statement, you know, let me know. And if there's anything you want to say as well, or if there's a point that you've made or something that's happened in your life, because you're part of minority sexuality, and that it really affected you, perhaps it's something negative. So, you know, someone said a statement that just makes no sense whatsoever, and it just keeps playing on your mind, and you just get really angry. You know, feel free to let it out in the comments. I'm sure we'll all, you know, sympathise or empathise with you, and just, you know, we can have a little chat about it as well. You know, maybe there's something positive. Maybe there's something that somebody said to you at work or at school, and you're like, wow, did they really just say that? You know, that is so different from the norm. You know, let me know again. Just let me know your experiences, positive and negative, in the comments down below. I can't believe this is over 20 minutes long, but I hope you enjoyed it anyway, and I'll speak to you very soon.